the tennis world was shaken. Jannik Sinner, the young Italian prodigy and world number 1, tested positive for a banned substance. Clostebol, an anabolic agent, was found in his system during routine testing in March 2024. This revelation sent shockwaves through the sport, leaving fans and fellow players bewildered. How could this rising star, known for his work ethic and sportsmanship, be embroiled in such a scandal? Sinner, just 22 years old at the time, vehemently denied any wrongdoing. He pledged to clear his name, embarking on a legal battle that would consume the following year. The case quickly became a media frenzy. It sparked debates about doping in tennis, the fairness of sanctions, and the pressure athletes face at the highest level of competition. This was not just about a positive test, it was about the integrity of the sport. Sinner's reputation, painstakingly built on talent and dedication, was on the line. The coming months would see him navigate a complex web of investigations, appeals, and pronouncements from tennis authorities. This is the inside story of Jannik Sinner's doping drama. The weight of the world seemed to rest on his young shoulders. Clostebol is not a performance-enhancing drug commonly associated with tennis. It is an anabolic steroid, often found in topical medications used to treat skin injuries. Its presence in Sinner's system, albeit in minute quantities, triggered an automatic red flag. The World Anti-Doping Agency, or WADA, maintains a strict liability policy. Any presence of a banned substance, regardless of intent, can lead to sanctions. The positive test came from both in-competition and out-of-competition samples, deepening the mystery. How did clostebol end up in the system of a world-class athlete, monitored for banned substances? The investigation focused on Sinner's medical team, his diet, and any possible sources of contamination. The pressure mounted as the young player and his team searched for answers. The complex molecule held the key to understanding the case. Weeks turned into months as Sinner and his team meticulously retraced his steps. Finally, a breakthrough emerged. The source of the clostebol was traced back to a topical healing spray, Trophodermin. This spray, containing clostebol, was used by Sinner's physiotherapist during routine massages. The physiotherapist, a trusted member of Sinner's team, had no idea the spray contained a banned substance. Sinner presented this evidence to the International Tennis Integrity Agency, the ITIA, the body responsible for adjudicating doping violations in tennis. He argued unintentional ingestion. He claimed the clostebol entered his system through transdermal contamination during these massages. Scientific experts were called upon to analyze the evidence. They confirmed the plausibility of Sinner's explanation. This seemingly innocuous spray had triggered an international controversy. In a surprising turn of events, the ITIA ruled in August 2024 that Sinner bore no fault or negligence in the case. The panel accepted the evidence presented. They acknowledged the clostebol contamination occurred through no fault of Sinner's. However, despite this ruling, the ITIA still imposed sanctions on the young player. Sinner was stripped of the ranking points and prize money he earned at Indian Wells, the tournament preceding his positive test. The ITIA argued that while unintentional, the presence of a banned substance in his system constituted a doping violation. This decision sparked outrage among many players and fans who felt it was unjust to punish an athlete cleared of intentional wrongdoing. The verdict brought little solace as sanctions loomed large. Section 5, WADA intervenes a million miles from intentional doping. The World Anti-Doping Agency, despite the ITIA's no-fault finding, was unhappy with the initial ruling. WADA officials believed a stronger message needed to be sent. They argued that even unintentional doping violations should carry significant consequences. WADA appealed the ITIA's decision, seeking a ban of 1 to 2 years for Sinner. However, WADA's stance was not as straightforward as it seemed. Ross Wenzel, a high-ranking WADA official, publicly stated that Sinner's case was a million miles away from doping. Wenzel acknowledged the scientific evidence supporting Sinner's claim of inadvertent contamination. He emphasized that WADA was not accusing Sinner of deliberately cheating. This seemingly contradictory position only added to the confusion and controversy surrounding the case. His words hinted at a divide within the anti-doping agency itself. Section 6. A controversial settlement, 3 months, and a cloud of doubt. With WADA's appeal looming, the case headed to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, or CAS. However, before the chaos hearing, a settlement was reached between Sinner, the ITIA, and WADA. This settlement resulted in a 3-month ban for Sinner, backdated to February 9, 2025. The timing of the ban was curious, allowing Sinner to return to competition just in time for the clay court season, including the French Open and Wimbledon. This led to accusations that the settlement was a compromise. Critics argued it served the interests of the sport rather than upholding the principles of anti-doping. The settlement, while offering a resolution, failed to quell the controversy. Section 7. Outcry from the locker room. Djokovic, Kyrgios and others speak out. The Sinner case ignited a firestorm of reactions from players across the tennis world. Novak Djokovic, a vocal critic of WADA, accused the organization of favoritism and inconsistency in applying doping regulations. He compared Sinner's case to that of Simona Halep, who received a lengthy ban for a similar unintentional violation. Nick Kyrgios, never one to shy away from controversy, called for an automatic 2-year ban for any doping violation, regardless of intent. Denis Shapovalov and Tara Moore, both victims of unintentional doping violations, criticized the perceived preferential treatment given to Sinner. The Professional Tennis Players Association, or PTPA, labeled the ITIA's processes as broken and called for greater transparency and accountability. The locker room became a battleground of opinions, exposing the deep divisions within the sport. Section 8. Career in limbo, missed opportunities and the fight for ranking. The 3-month ban, while shorter than what WADA initially sought, still had a significant impact on Sinner's career. He was forced to miss several prestigious tournaments, including the Australian Open, Indian Wells, Miami Open, and Monte Carlo Masters. These absences resulted in a substantial loss of ranking points, jeopardizing his #1 ranking. Beyond the immediate setbacks, the doping scandal cast a long shadow over Sinner's achievements. His every victory would be scrutinized. Some whispered doubts about whether he had an unfair advantage during his rise to the top. Sinner, once hailed as the future of tennis, now faced an uphill battle to reclaim his reputation and his place at the pinnacle of the sport. The impact on his ranking was undeniable, a constant reminder of the lost opportunities. Section 9. A sport divided: inconsistency, transparency, and the future of tennis. The Jannik Sinner doping case exposed the complexities and inconsistencies that plague anti-doping efforts in tennis. The ITIA's no-fault ruling, followed by sanctions and WADA's appeal, highlighted the lack of clarity in regulations and the subjective nature of punishments. The case sparked a much-needed conversation about the effectiveness and fairness of anti-doping procedures. Many called for greater transparency in the testing process, clearer guidelines on unintentional violations, and a more standardized approach to sanctions. The Sinner saga served as a wake-up call for the tennis world, a stark reminder that even the most promising careers can be derailed by the intricacies of doping regulations. The future of the sport depends on upholding the principles of fair play and ensuring a level playing field for all.